going. Year end is waiting for one more, so let's take off and go.
Okay, that's a good thing you said that, because I had just taken off.
I will retroactively approve your position to start. Decision to start.
Yeah, financial winstruments on Ceres, says Dryad. Round 4 then of the January Series tournament. Welcome along. This is the January Series tournament, by the way. I'm assuming there will be more in the future. In this game we have Macross, Zorbaz, Rainbow Ideology and Adderfield. And alongside me, as usual, is Philothanic.
So this map is very interesting for 3 reasons. First of all, iron, there's like no adjacent iron anywhere on the map. There is a bad, medium or bad carbon found up here. Prices are terribly low, and there's nukes.
I was going to say, is this iron part of your Scavenger Lives Matter movement that you're promoting as part of this tournament?
I would say that, except that there isn't really a scavenger spot either. So my
I guess
expectation,
not. Yeah, no, there's really not. Oh, never mind.
I say that, and Zorbaz decides he wants it anyway.
So Zorbaz...
My expectation for this map is to see a bunch of expansives and robots.
Yeah, that's what Rainbow's done. Well, he's gone with the expansive, and it seems pretty good to me. Macross going with the robot in the middle of the map next to the water, and Adderfield going next to him with the expansive. Not very much iron. He's having to take it all the way from the south of the map, but he is right next to the aluminum, which we've seen be a factor even in the late game on this map. Something interesting as well, half of the map here, so this powdery white stuff is unique to Ceres.
This is salt.
Salt, so it boosts, what does it boost? It boosts farms and it boosts glass kilns. So any farms and glass kilns on it get 50% extra production, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so Zorbaz potentially with this water might be in a position to produce food if food gets profitable, which it will.
Also.
Yep. So
they will have a bonus on food. So prices did start low, but as you can see, they're very quickly creeping up. This is Ceres after all. Low prices don't last very long.
Yep. So Rainbow Ideology gets to 2, so does Macross. Adderfield struggling a little bit. He isn't expansive and he's in the middle of the map, so that's potentially to be expected. Trying to get that steel.
He does have access to decent water when he gets that upgrade, and a good source of aluminum.
In fact, he's got the upgrade now. I'm not quite sure whether he realizes he's got all of his money in chems. Needs to sell all of that down and get the upgrade, because in the
he's
meantime...
waiting for the chem price to increase due to demand from London, which is a nice little play by him.
Well, it would be a nice little play, but he's delayed it so long, and he's got like 4,000 in chems, $4,000 in chems that he's just not been using to upgrade. He needed to do that much sooner.
Right. The problem with it was he delayed so long that Macross took his good aluminum.
Oh dear. Yeah. That's a big problem.
Buying into it, letting it go up a little bit, and then selling out to make your upgrade go faster, I'm a fan of. Buying into it and holding on it and not letting your upgrade go faster, I think was a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, that's a big problem. So Zorbaz taking advantage of the fact that he's on salt and using the farm bonus. So each of these farms, normally they'd be 0.75. Instead, they are 1 production per second, because of that 50% bonus that is additive to the adjacent bonus as well.
Rainbow Ideology hitting level 3 next, and Zorbaz going up to level 4. So right now we have an early race between the Scavenger and
what is Rainbow Ideology doing with this aluminum? He's taken too low instead of the high that's right next to it? I guess because it's on the ice.
It's on the ice.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I can see that as being potentially of enough value to...
Zorbaz beat him to all the water, so it makes sense that he wants to make sure he gets as much of that ice as possible, especially because there's nothing on the map. Now what he could have done instead of going for this is maybe try and core sample a medium or a high on the ice.
So yeah, possibly.
could have possibly made that play a little bit better. He is going.
There is some water to the east as well. There's a medium and 3 lows there, so possibly
Yes.
again go into that. But yeah, that's a big investment to go into that, so maybe not.
Rainbow Ideology putting down 3 solar panels in a row, which is the current meta, with that goon
Yeah, I mean
in the middle.
that's okay. I mean he's not going to make any money from that. He's in a bunch of debt. He's in 26,000 right now.
What this will do is it will keep him from falling too far behind.
Yeah.
Zorbaz is also moving into some nukes, although he needed. He's purchasing the uranium off the market, but they're now making a good 600.
Yeah, he put auto supply on eventually. He's not got
500.
auto supply on by default.
Which is a mistake, and you should always turn it on.
Everyone should do, yeah, absolutely.
In fact,
but,
I
100%
should pester
of the time.
Soren. Soren, if you're watching this,
Should be
turn
the
auto
default.
supply on for default for everyone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. Alright, let's move on to Macros and Adderfield. They're both lagging a little bit behind. Adderfield's definitely behind the most, I would say.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, he's got the nuclear plants down, but he is in that A level of debt already, which is going to be a little bit of a problem. He's also just doesn't have enough cash. He's not really making the steel that he needs to make, and he's selling a bunch of it down as well. So yeah, he's quite far behind, in fact.
Yes, he's behind at the moment. Macros is not as far behind, only needs an additional 5k to get the upgrade to level 4, and then we'll be a little bit behind. While we're talking about Adderfield, Zorbaz just got nuked, and is going off of a trace and a low.
Oh,
for carbon.
That's so painful.
Which is, and in fact, his carbon is right now losing money.
Oh, yeah, he's gooned his low.
Due to the power price. He's gooned his low, which was correct after the high which had downgraded to a medium, got nuked.
Yeah.
But he should have gooned it earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because his carbon wasn't so good. So this is really going to slow Zorbaz down from his fast start, and probably will keep him from winning the game, I'd be willing to say.
Yeah, I think it's a big blow to him, isn't it? I mean, he's got most of the carbon, or half of the carbon that he needs to upgrade to HQ5, so it's not going to be too much of a problem for him, certainly in the short term, but he's going to have to transition and just build stuff, and for that you need quite a lot of carbon as a scavenger.
Right.
And he's just
so
not going to have that available.
He might want to prioritize the nanotechnology patent.
Yeah, or slant drilling perhaps to make sure that he keeps hold of that one low and maybe makes it a triangle even adjacent to it.
Rainbow Ideology, I will give kudos to him for identifying that Zorbaz was the current competitor to him and that out. So that was a great move by Rainbow.
Rainbow also building a patent lab, and he actually said before the game that the high chem price has screwed him over multiple occasions this tournament already, and I wonder if he's going to rush probably liquid batteries, right? That's what he's going for first, I imagine.
Liquid batteries, yes, would be really good.
With the solar panels and the solar condensers?
Yes,
yeah.
Solar panels, both solar condensers. Despite being nuked, Zorbaz does get up to level 5, like we said. Macros is at level 4, also in solar panels, and unfortunately Adderfield is just sort of lagging behind here.
Yeah, the issue that Zorbaz has now, though, is he's not got enough. Oh, he's core sampled for carbon. Fantastic, good move, Zorbaz.
It's a low.
Big fan of that. It is a low, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's much better. Yeah, he needed it, and it's much better than operating off just a low and a trace. So that's really good. So maybe he's going to be able to transition and build stuff despite the carbon situation.
Rainbow Ideology deciding to nuke Adderfield, way to kick a player when they're already down. However, this is the cutthroat world of space capitalism, so anything goes.
Yeah, you don't get bonus points for being nice in Off-World Trading Company. Rainbow Ideology in liquid batteries. He's 20 seconds away from it. Macross is also building up, has in fact also built a patent lab and has gone straight into perpetual motion.
I think the Pleasure Dome went for a little bit too cheap.
For 9,000? Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
power
wow.
at 100.
I hadn't
That was a
noticed that.
mistake.
That was a huge mistake. I don't know what the other players were thinking there. That's a very valuable pleasure dome. And yeah, that's going to make
There's
Zorbaz a lot of money.
there's plenty of power production on the map. Zorbaz is moving out of it, so it might creep up a little bit, but I don't foresee power becoming an issue anytime in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, uranium price is high, so that usually there's some amount of stickiness of power when the uranium price is high, because solar panels just aren't that good on Ceres. Even with the liquid batteries, they're only sort of vaguely comparable to nuclear plants. The solar flare, though, is going to kill power, at least in the short term, and Rainbow is going to benefit.
Now, Rainbow Ideology went for transparent aluminum, and this is the exact situation that transparent aluminum has been designed for. Aluminum is at 16, glass is at 208. He now needs 9.6k worth of aluminum, and that's buying 280 of it off the market to get an upgrade. So that is the perfect use case of that patent.
Yeah, fair enough.
A ton of money.
So it's going to save him, what, 14k-ish, something like that, and he spent how much on the... He spent 12k on the patent. So
the only thing about
sure
it is the chems were really high.
Yeah. Yeah, he spent 12,000 on the patent, so I don't know. It's barely profitable for him.
What this will do is, as he rotates around in the farms, out of farms, in the buildings that need glass, those will be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. And if he does, and again in this tournament, which we've been surprised by this before, off-worlds are a factor. It's 43,000 for a launch of oxygen, which is a decent amount of money. It's not all that expensive to do it, as the pleasure dome gets blown up by Rainbow Ideology. No surprise there. But off-worlds are not insignificant in this game, and so maybe that's a thing. Maybe transparent aluminum, you pay that 100 glass for the off-world, it becomes 100 aluminum. It's much more manageable.
Right. So that's one of those cases.
So nobody's upgrading to HQ5.
No,
which is
that's
interesting.
what I was just going to comment. Zorbaz is the only one in HQ5, but is not really making the money difference that you'd like to see at HQ5. He's kind of holding his own here. He has the one advantage: he doesn't have to upgrade.
Yeah, and Rainbow's not really making very much money either. Is somebody buying... Oh, so this is Adderfield. Is he trying to hack fuel up? What's he doing? He bought a bunch of fuel for no reason. And several other players are in fuel.
He's
in fact,
going into
one of the players in
fuel shortage right now.
Yeah, and that's a problem because Rainbow Ideology is producing fuel and is benefiting from that a lot.
Right idea, wrong execution.
Yeah, absolutely. Macross gets teleportation for himself, so that's going to help him. The silicon is being shipped all the way across the map at the moment. It's now not going to be.
Which might save him his debt problems. He is in C debt, as Zorbaz is also.
Yeah, and none of these players are able to make very much money. This is kind of an interesting game, because I guess Rainbow Ideology is in a good position because he's got a bunch of water, a bunch of which he's just sold down.
Players are correcting for their previous mistake on that 9k pleasure dome.
Yep.
A 24k pleasure dome.
Bidding that one up to 24. I don't know. I think it's still pretty good.
Power's on the way up is the only reason why I'm saying the maybe. And
one thing we hadn't noticed earlier as well is that Adderfield's water has gotten nuked out, which is why water, I think, is kind of a big deal at the moment. So Rainbow Ideology in a good position with that liquid batteries, although he's not really using it at the moment to drive the price up too far at least.
Did get to 5, as did Macross. At roughly the same time.
So Zorbaz has a bunch of cash. He's got 150k, but he's also in a bunch of debt. He's in over 200k of debt now, and his stock price is tanking as a consequence. I'm intrigued to see what his next move is. I wonder whether he's going to attack somebody. I wonder whether he's going to pay his debt off, and I wonder how he's going to make enough money to compete with Rainbow in the late game, who has that liquid batteries and the expensive.
Go into some sort of power production. I don't care which it is. Nukes or solar. So he
Power's up
doesn't
at 230.
fall completely out of contention, which he might have already done as his debt is 251 and increasing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there's liquid batteries of Rainbow Ideology. It's so good. Look at these solar panels. They're so tremendously good. They operate during the night. They don't care that the sun's up for much less time
And he's
on Ceres than
making
it is on Mars.
1K in power money a second.
Yeah, and he's making cash from that now as well. He's not paying any debt off, so Rainbow is putting himself into a very good position. He's basically caught up in terms of cash to Zorbaz. Zorbaz is in real danger. He's buying his stock up, which is
He's
okay,
buying
I
his
guess.
He's now going to pay off his debt, I would assume, increase his stock price, and then see what he can do from there.
Yeah, he has to pay his debt off because he's in genuine danger of getting just shift-click bought at the moment. That would be 316k at the moment to do that, and Macross has 200.
Not out of the question.
Yeah.
Or yes, Macros or Rainbow Ideology.
So yeah, he's really got to pay that debt off. Thinking Machines to Adafield in the auction for 14. Again, Thinking Machines not quite as good as it is on Mars. Off-world's not such a factor. Although again in this game, Oxygen is a 50k launch. If someone can get one up, and that's the problem at the moment because steel is so very high. And,
Steel's very high. The other problem is if players are thinking of going into an off-world, they have not driven up the price of dynamites that much.
Yeah,
Dynamite's still only 10k. There aren't really any green poppers though, so that's going to help. Zorbaz, meanwhile,
Zorbaz is buying everyone's stock. I'm not exactly sure
stock.
what his plan is. This is very interesting because he's in so much debt. So basically, what he's done here, and this is why you shouldn't ever do this, is he's just painted this enormous big red target on the back. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. So whoever buys Zorbaz at the moment, if someone can buy Zorbaz right now, they just win the game. Like, it's that simple.
He's correcting by buying
so much
out
stock.
of selling out of Rainbow Ideology and at Fairfield. So he's not.
I don't know. It might be too late. 400,000 of debt. I don't know how he corrects against that. Macross can pretty much buy him now.
Should.
And if he does, I think he basically wins the game. I think
and unfortunately, Zorbaz is handing a nice platter to Macros.
Rainbow can also buy him, though.
Both of them need to click this buy immediately.
Oh,
they're going to get an off-world.
Look at this, $5 a stock. Somebody's got to shift click.
Hit the button.
Somebody's got to shift click.
Macros.
Nobody's shift clicking. There, eventually Macross does.
Maybe that was a misclick by Rainbow Ideology. He bought a single stock instead of shift clicking.
Oh dear, so Macross gets a huge stock price bump. His stock price is 48,000 now, and it's going to be gets a full subsidiary that's a scavenger who was, by the way, building an off-world as well at that point. It's so profitable. Macross is just going to be raking in the money, and that basically, I think, has decided this game. I think before that it was in the balance between Macross and Rainbow Ideology, but now it's really hard to see Rainbow coming back in this game.
Now, if he was going to come back in this game, raining down some nukes would help.
Yep, which he's just done on this uranium tile in the southeast.
Uranium is very expensive, so that's a good move.
Very profitable. I wonder if we'll see a core sample to get a better uranium tile. I guess Rainbow's got slant drilling.
Now,
no
what
real prospect
Adderfield and Rainbow need to realize right now, and this is very hard to realize in the moment, is they need to both buy into macros. Preferably separately. One person takes the hit of not getting the 2 claims, and then the other person does the shift click.
Yeah, they both have a decent amount of money, but I'm not sure they have enough money. They both need, well, to buy Macross in his entirety now. If Macross finishes all of his stock, then the other player, well, you need 2 million at that point to buy out Macross in his entirety.
Right.
So they'd need 1 million each, which, I mean, Rainbow's getting there. He's getting up towards 500,000, but Adafield really isn't getting there. So
now, if Adafield had maybe knocked out a couple of Macros' stock, then it would be in a comparable move. But this fight amongst each other is a mistake, and will seal the game for Macros.
Yeah, I think so.
No way to sugarcoat it.
And Rainbow's certainly going to win this fight. I
Rainbow
don't
will win
see,
this fight.
I don't see any other outcome.
Um, and then it'll be a. I would say Macro should have it. He is getting a hailstorm of underground nukes raining
Yeah,
down on
so
him.
so a bunch of it, and also Rainbow has slant drilling, so he can't really respond to that. So it's kind of
So,
interesting. He's got the subsidiary income, but he's
so,
not got the earnings potential that Rainbow has.
so with this, I would say mistake by Adderfield to buy into Rainbow ideology first. Rainbow's trying to make the best of this bad situation is by continuing to rain down these nukes and defending himself from Adderfield. The problem is, while he's doing that, Macros is just going to sit here and earn cash slower than
Yeah,
before because of those nukes.
but not that much cash. Like, he's not earning
No.
that much money. And Rainbow is now not too far away from this buy on Adderfield, particularly if Adderfield finishes those two stock on Rainbow Ideology. And Rainbow Ideology now has two off-worlds. He's got one that's, I think, already up. Oh no, in fact, they're both building, so he decided to build two off-worlds, which is a
Instead of
really
the buy
interesting
on
move.
Adderfield, which I maybe would have gone into one because that might
Yeah,
delay the
maybe.
buy too much. I'm
So
not
how
sure
much
how.
cash has he actually got right now? He's got 100. He's very helpfully sold down all his waters. He's got 150k, so he's a couple of 100k short. Adderfield, yeah, I don't know. This is interesting. This might be the only way he wins, though. Like, this is a huge, huge gamble
Gamble. I'm not sure
because,
which way the odds are better, to be honest.
yeah, I don't know either. Zorbaz is not making any money. That's the other thing. He's making no money for Macross, like literally zero. It
Macros
was a moment
has
ago.
found a way to make some money by swapping his base around. It went up from when we said he was making no money, 250k, now has 400k
Yeah,
in the
that's not
bank.
much though, is it? Like, and
No,
against
it's
two
not
off-worlds
much.
of what are they? Oh, they're only 37k. They're not actually as much as I thought, these launches. Although they're going to stick at 30k for a while because there are multiple resources that are quite valuable. But even so, it's yeah, it's still quite good for him. He's got those two off-worlds up now. He's how far away is he from the buy? 150k or thereabouts. He's going to get those two launches, and he'll probably be there. So
Yes.
I wonder. I wonder.
Uh,
Macross is making a bunch of money. There's no doubt about that. He's got half a million
This
in the bank now.
this is going to be a interesting finish, is all I can say at the moment. My crystal ball for seeing the future is failing me.
Oh, and in fact, I might have misspoke there because I think I think I was looking at Rainbow's income from Zorbaz. So Macross is actually making some money from Zorbaz. Not a
Yeah,
huge amount though.
700.
Yeah.
Rainbow should make more from Adderfield once this buy goes off, which will happen
So it should
now.
happen
He should
very
cancel out
soon.
or something
No,
at
I
some
think
point.
he's just going to wait for it to tick up, and I'm okay with that. Doesn't want to be cancelling these launches. There's a longer game to play. For him, he's going to hit the button right now. There it is.
All
So
right,
it's now a
so
1v1.
it was a
Macross
1v1, and
has
Macros has a sizable cash
an
advantage.
advantage of, what,
It was
500,000 at the
500,000.
start. So, he
But
needed 1.25 million to complete the buy. So he's got about a sort of Rainbow needs to earn twice as much as Macross basically to win the game, and
and
Macross is
Macros is going to try
selling
and
out.
finish it
That's very
quicker by
brave.
selling out, which is, yes, it's
Oh, so if he sells these three, he
I
gets 200k from that. He'll be 200k short. I don't
which
know. I don't think I like that decision.
it's a definitely a bold move. I'm not sure how it will play out.
Maybe I do like that decision, because Rainbow does have a
But
much bigger earnings advantage. So maybe selling out of your stock now and
yeah,
trying to shorten the game is the thing to do.
well, he has stopped
He's
selling out,
stopped,
so he's
yeah.
maybe thought better of it.
Yeah, so Macross now
He
has
is
440.
okay. So if he sells out of the rest of his stock right now, he would be able to make the buy.
And he is now making a lot of money actually, I'm not quite sure how. I guess just the chems are pretty profitable. The water, oh, the water. That's how the water. Look at the water, my goodness. And Rainbow is
Has the
stockpiling water. Really needs to be
Macros
selling
has
it
the
down.
buy
Macross
right
has the
now.
buy and takes the win.
for a
So there it
quite
is.
entertaining
That was a
finish with
really
lots of
interesting one.
twists and
Yeah,
turns.
it really was. And again, prices got crazy again, as you would
Even
expect
though
on
they
Ceres,
started out
despite
super low, they
yeah,
always find a way to get high.
and despite a low colony size as well, it only expanded to size 8 at that point. Um, but yeah, so Zorbaz, like again, this was an interesting scavenger found, but again, it falls short for lots of reasons. One, the main reason, honestly, was the nukes.
The
Um,
new, so it, I would say it wasn't an interesting scavenger found. I'd say it was a bad scavenger found
yeah, I think it
because
probably
of the
was.
nukes and the only so a high
The high and the
low
low,
on
yeah.
Mars is not the greatest scavenger found to begin with,
Yeah,
much less on Ceres where those tiles are going to diminish.
yeah, I think that's fair. And yeah, I mean, he raced through the upgrades, but again, in the late game, he just didn't have anything.
Right, if you're
Um,
going to go for that scavenger found, you should be the last person to found. That way you get the least amount of debt, maybe no debt, and you get that extra HQ, that extra claim bonus on HQ 2 or 3.
yeah, yeah. And Rainbow Ideologies found I really liked. I think he played the game really well, apart from one thing, and this was most of the reason, almost 100% of the reason that Macross won the game, is that he got into that buy on the debt spiraling Zorbaz before
Right,
anyone else realized what was up.
probably. Hopefully that was just a misclick and he thought he was holding shift and actually didn't.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a really tough one because yeah, he was so cheap at that point that
Or
anything other than
maybe
a shift click is
what
just a
happened
huge
is he
mistake.
held shift and that didn't do the bought a single stock. I'm not sure what the command is for buying a single stock instead of hitting the big red buy button.
Yeah. So I mean that was basically the game right there. And despite all of the advantages that Rainbow had accrued, which included the liquid batteries. What other patents did he have? He had slant drilling as well, which was a big deal because of the nukes. Had financial instruments, which didn't play a huge amount of. I mean, I guess he got a couple of the ticks from Zorbaz, but that was pretty much it. And the transparent aluminum as well. All of those advantages didn't really count for anything because Macros had that subsidiary and that huge stock price, and all of that stock basically for free.
Right.